Now, those who do still travel on Israeli roads can always amuse themselves by noting the variations of English names in road signs for the same towns and streets. Is it Petach Tikva with an H or a CH in Petach, or a V or a QWA in Tikva? Is it Beersheba or Beersheva, Bethlehem or Beit Lechem? And what about signs for the local train station that just transliterate the Hebrew word for train, rakevet, or station tachana on a sign? How is that supposed to help English speakers? Well, now the Israeli parliament has given preliminary approval to a new bill that will require by law the uniform and correct spelling of any English on street and road signs. Well, joining us for more on this is someone who for years has been dealing with the thorny issue of translation and transliteration of Hebrew into English. Liat Collins, editor of the International Jerusalem Post, joining us from Jerusalem. And Liat, maybe let's first explain to viewers why, those who haven't been to Israel, been on roads, why this is such a big deal given what we see on the signs in Israel.
Well, for a start, it's been pretty chaotic up to now. There's no standard version, and people, for example, if you want to travel to Tiberias, is it Tiberias or Tiberia in Hebrew? Even where your Orpan, where your studio is situated, is it Jaffa or Yaffo in Hebrew or Jaffa in Arabic? And there was this famous, notorious even road sign for the airport, which used the Hebrew acronym Natbag. So you had a sign on the road taking you to the main airport that just said Natbag, as if everybody understood what that is. So yes, there's definitely a need for it. And I'm actually happy that this is the sort of issues that we're dealing with right now. It's a sign that the tourists will be coming back.
Right, and I will explain. Natbag is Namal Te'ufah Ben Gurion and the Ben Gurion International Airport, and that is the thing.
The acronym for it, right.
Let's talk about the difficulty of even deciding, though, how to spell, to decide. I mean, I lived on a street in Jerusalem called Mapu, a very small street. 3 different signs on the street, M-A-P-U, M-A-P-O-O, and M-A-P-O-U. You've dealt with that. I mean, how do you think they should go about deciding whether it's Beersheba or Beersheba?
I think maybe, first of all, let me say that in Jerusalem, you're lucky you didn't live on Lincoln Street. I'm not sure anybody who had tried to salvage the name of the American president, Lincoln, was lucky. I think they're going to have to maybe make certain exceptions for the well-known biblical cities, for example. My late aunt said she used to get a thrill when she came across a sign saying that you're on the road to Armageddon. Maybe Armageddon and Megiddo can be switched, but if you start using the Hebrew transliteration for Jerusalem, it's going to be problematic. So it's going to be done in cooperation with the Hebrew Language Academy, who are actually quite keen on this. And it's going to take about 5 years if the bill passes, which is also still a question mark about that. Because I think sensitivities will come into it over the different names and the transliterations, particularly between the Hebrew and the Arabic version, which name do you use. But I think if the Hebrew Language Academy weighs in, and they are experts on this sort of thing, the problem is that sometimes the transliterations, the official transliterations, they're accepted worldwide, aren't what we hear.
Right, I'm going to give you 2 examples, and we're Jerusalemites, as we know. Israelis know a street called Beit Lechem. They don't call it Bethlehem Road. So if you ask an Israeli and you see a sign that says Bethlehem Road, and you ask an Israeli, they tell you where they live, you won't know what street it is.
Right, although on the other hand, it is the road that goes to Bethlehem, so maybe it would be good to call it Bethlehem Road in both. Yeah, it's full of pitfalls. It's not going to be so easy to do that. I was thinking also with the Arabic, you have Kfar Raja in the north, and the R sounds like in Boutros Ghali, the politician, UN's former Secretary General. The accepted transliteration for that is a GH, which doesn't sound anything like an R in any language. So it's
All right. Well,
it's going to be problematic.
It's going to be problematic. And I know we at this station deal with it. And at the Jerusalem Post, also for many years dealing with, how do you call things in English? So it's going to be interesting.
I'm sure our readers will weigh in.
I'm sure they will, as they always have, and our viewers too. Liat Collins, the editor of the International Jerusalem Post, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.